What up, guys? This will be my video here for Friday, November 30th, and new thing I'm going to start doing in these videos. I know a lot of you guys watch these and you're short on time and you only watch them to listen to a topic or two that I talk about. So what I'm going to start doing is time stamping the topics I discuss in the description down below so you can see when I start talking about what. So I know some of you guys that are searching through all the videos trying to find the timestamps and when I start talking about certain topics, you'll be able to find them right there. If you like that, if it helps you, let me know down in the comments and I'll keep doing it. All right, so let's get into a lot of different things to discuss. First of all, major QProof right here. Look at this. So Vice President Mike Pence tweeted some photographs today after his visit with law enforcement officers in Florida. And one of those photographs, this one right here that he tweeted, bam, one of the law enforcement officers has a Q patch right on his chest there. This was the patch. If you're wondering, oh, is it actually a QAnon patch? Yes, you can buy these. It says question their narrative Q. They are QAnon tactical patches you could purchase. Officer had it right on him. And right away, The Hill quickly writing this article to discredit the whole situation. Pence posts photo with law enforcement officer wearing patch associated with QAnon. This came out really quick, within like half an hour of the vice president posting these photographs, and The Hill going into their typical discrediting narratives. It's a crazy conspiracy theory, vague and far-reaching, blah, blah, blah. But man, massive QProof right there. I'm wondering if these are going to be the photographs that are the signifier. Something's got to force that question. I mean, nobody has asked the president. Nobody has asked about these quite yet. I found this funny. In the Hill article right here, the White House did not immediately respond to the Hill's request for comments on the image. Interesting stuff, guys. Things are heating up. All right, next article. Trump calls the Federal Reserve a much bigger problem than China. So a couple of days ago, Trump told the Washington Post, I think the Fed is a much bigger issue than China. Hey, any president throwing shade at the Federal Reserve, putting them on blast, is a good president in my eyes. And Trump has done this multiple times in recent months. So more good news right there. Next, the Daily Caller with an exclusive about the FBI raiding the home of a whistleblower who was offering up dirt on the Clinton Foundation. This happened about 11 days ago on November 19th. The man's name was Dennis Nathan Kane. He was a former FBI contractor. And on the morning of November 19th, a whole team of FBI rummaged through his house for 6 hours. So some deep state connections to the FBI still there. Somebody looking like they pulled some strings on the FBI to get them to raid this guy's house. The Clinton Foundation and those bad actors associated with it, they are not going down easy. And I am sure they are scared about what Huber is going to be saying next Wednesday, December 5th. Moving on, Putin delivering some really bizarre comments in regards to the leaders in Ukraine there. He said if they want to eat babies for breakfast tomorrow, they'll probably give them babies. What? This is no accident in my eyes. What I think is going on is Putin is putting the deep state on blast, setting them a not so subtle message, really. If you actually look at who's involved in Ukraine, there's a lot of deep state connections there. Speaking of the Clinton Foundation, a lot of those donations that have gone to the Clinton Foundation in recent years have been from Ukraine. A huge amount of them have been from Ukraine that have gone to the Clinton Foundation. So I think Putin is sending a message right there to the deep state of basically telling the world some of the stuff that they're involved in regards to children. So again, heating up, man. I think next week is going to be a week to remember. Something out of Houston, really big news in regards to Catholic sex abuse. So a few days ago, the Montgomery County Police raided the archdiocese there in Houston. More clergy abuse files found during the search of an archdiocese's secret archives. These articles coming out about it, the news reports are literally talking about secret archives that these investigators went into. And then the DA there in Montgomery County literally said, if it's at the Vatican, I'll be heading to Rome. It could be like the A&M game, 7 overtimes. I'll be heading to Rome if it's at the Vatican. Wow, that's huge. And the fact that they're going into secret archives. So, woo, Catholic Church being put on blast here. And this is in addition to what we're seeing come out of Pennsylvania as well in recent months there in regards to those archdioceses, clergy sex abuse being outed in Pennsylvania, now in Texas, in Houston there, and literally secret archives, and the DA saying, I'll go to Vatican if I need to. Crazy, crazy stuff, but very good developments there. Now let's talk about the Space Force for a minute. So some articles floating around the mainstream media in the past couple of days about the Space Force and how it's really on thin ice. This article stating that maybe the Space Force won't be a separate department after all. And the main theme of many of these articles circulating around talking about the Space Force being on thin ice is the fact that the Democrats, many people who have been opposed to the Space Force, are going to obtain control of the House in just a month here. So that's why these articles are speculating that the Space Force won't become a department after all. Could just be a separate military service within the Air Force. But all these articles aren't really talking about the fact that we have a pro-MAGA majority in the Senate, and the Senate has more power than the House does. And of course, Donald Trump and a lot of his advisors around him, they have really been spearheading this Space Force initiative, the creation of it. So I'm not really too concerned about the Space Force not coming to fruition. What Trump wants, Trump gets, So I'm not looking too much into all this. I think the Senate and Trump are really going to push this, and it will become a department sooner or later. Bam. All right, so quick word from a sponsor of this channel in Noble Gold Investments. Noble Gold is an awesome American-run, family-run company, and for Christmas, they've got some awesome commemorative coins that you can go purchase. They have rare coins, silver dollars from over 100 years ago, and they also have a collectible Trump coin touting his economic establishments. So these are great. Go pick them up. There'll be a link down below and a link where you can go check out Noble Gold as well. Now we move on to a very mysterious, very interesting article that's been going around in recent days. Strange waves rippled around the world and nobody knows why. Well, they say nobody because their mainstream scientists don't, but we can speculate as to why. Let's talk about these mysterious waves first. On the morning of November 11th, what a day. What a very interesting day for this to happen on. On November 11th, a mysterious rumble rolled across the world, but it wasn't a rumble like the earthquake that just happened in Alaska this morning. Prayers to everybody there in Anchorage. But this was a frequency. So it was only the P and the S waves that typically occur with earthquakes. Those are the frequencies that hit out before the actual surface waves of rumbling. There were no surface waves in this, no actual rumbles, but just the frequencies went around basically the whole world. And very curious, very mysterious. Not many people are really knowing why, but again, we can speculate here. There's been all sorts of crazy things go on with our Earth in recent years, and it's picking up speed. More and more anomalies are occurring. I mean, just over the past year or two, we've had particles being found coming out of Antarctica that shouldn't be there, at least according to mainstream science. We've got plasma ropes being found over the North Pole, very anomalous, very peculiar. We have waves, huge energetic waves being picked up on sensors, on telemetry around the world. We've got noctilucent clouds. Those are fascinating to research. Noctilucent clouds, these are literally glowing clouds of ice that are like 50 miles up. Usually they're found only over the poles, but in recent years they've been found further and further away from the poles. I think as far south from the North Pole as like Kentucky, even the Midwest of America, which is, again, crazy. Why the heck is that going on? Well, it all has to do with whatever you want to call it, ascension, the quantum shift, the Great Awakening, literally the awakening of not just us, but our Earth, our sun, our whole cosmos, really. We're all awaiting for that quantum shift that's going to happen. The sun and its effects, the solar flare that's going to cause our poles to shift. Another anomaly occurring is the poles, electromagnetic poles are drifting. So just lots of things going on. I would venture to guess that that's what these strange waves have to do with, is all of these earth changes, all of the changes going on in our electric universe. A lot more to be said about all that. Now let's talk about 5G. So I found a couple of interesting articles about 5G that I want to make note of because I think a lot of people are more scared about 5G than they really should be. Now I'm not saying 5G is good, right? It's very bad, very harmful. I don't want it to be released. But what we're seeing is countries around the world start to deny 5G, halting it. So New Zealand here halting a Chinese company from 5G upgrade over security fears. New Zealand is one of those countries halting 5G. Australia's 5G network is also being somewhat halted due to these security concerns. So this is very good news. And I found another article having to do with 5G in America. So that same Chinese company, Huawei, my best effort right there, Huawei, the boss of that company is saying the U.S. might not win the 5G race if it doesn't let us back in. He's literally saying the U.S. itself has actually been blocking that company from selling network systems of 5G in America since 2012. So on a superficial level, I mean, we're seeing a lot of somewhat unsubstantiated information being shared around about 5G being implemented everywhere. And I'm aware of a couple of cities in America that are starting to implement it, but I don't think it's as implemented en masse as a lot of people are saying. I think there's still a lot of vying for control and trying to get 5G out to the public. And it looks to be a lot of stifling occurring with that 5G, which is very good news. I don't think it's getting rolled out as quick as a lot of people tend to believe. Now let's move on to talking about vaccines really quick. So the Washington Post putting out another piece of propaganda as they do day in and day out, saying here why small groups of vaccine refusers can make large groups of people sick, which is already a lie. There's lying again right here. Outbreaks happen more easily in clusters of immunization skeptics. Straight BS. I've done plenty of videos and reporting on vaccines. You can go look them up. Recent video I did, I think about a week ago, I was talking a lot about vaccine propaganda, undoing it, explaining how vaccines actually make you more sick, harm your immune system, harm your nervous system. You don't vaccinate for immunity. You have healthy habits. You live a healthy lifestyle for immunity. Vaccines, they just sell to the public with a bunch of fear porn, and don't let it work on you. Reject that poison. And then last topic, last article I have here for you guys comes out of Canada, and it has to do with MMS. I literally have MMS right here. I use it. I have some bottles of it. But this news article out of Canada is saying that a man was jailed for selling what they're claiming to be a dangerous miracle tonic. So, man in Canada jailed for selling MMS. There's been multiple people in America jailed here for selling MMS. Free Daniel Smith. But we have a man in Canada now behind bars for doing it. And they are putting out some disinformation in this article, warning about the dangers of the so-called miracle mineral solution. MMS contains sodium chloride, a chemical used mainly as a bleaching agent and disinfectant. They're saying that ingesting it can cause serious health problems, including poisoning, kidney failure, and harm to red blood cells. That's a lie, and I can attest to that from my own experience. I've put this on my skin. I've taken plenty of drops of this stuff internally before. I've drank it. If this was a poisonous bleach and caused kidney failure, I'd be dead right now. And I know a lot of other people that would be as well. I've seen people that this has helped immensely, heal them wonderfully. So yeah, that's some BS right there. MMS is great stuff. Be very careful when using it. Know all about it if you're going to decide to go the MMS route, but it is definitely not a poisonous bleach. Health Canada lying to us right here. The FDA has put out a warning letter about MMS, saying that, again, MMS is a dangerous bleach and it'll kill you, and a bunch of mainstream media outlets have tried to disinform the public about this stuff. But you know, if the FDA says that anything's going to kill you and puts out a warning letter about it, it might very well actually be good for you, as I'm sure you know. Big Pharma always loves to lie. But that's why I'm here. Help undo those lies for you guys. That's all I had in this video. Big QProof right there. Very excited for the weeks to come. And we have a lot of things heating up in this world, and that's why we see all the mainstream media trying to throw as much disinformation, as many lies our way as they can, but we won't let that happen. We won't get caught up with their BS. Thank you guys. I'll be talking to you again soon. Take care.